this whole thing about these countries are happy, who cares? Our country is a stressed out, crazy, revolutionary country producing more inventions, more industry, more wealth, more new ideas than anywhere else. That's stressful. You're happy if you're living in this country. Like I say, Norway invented the paperclip. Good for them. And no wonder they're happy. We provide the army that protects them. We provide the new inventions in healthcare that they live on, the phones, the cars, whatever they use that's high-tech tech comes from us. So they're happy like, a kid living in his parents' garage, or really like an old person living in his kid's garage, really. And so they're happy like that. Who cares? Who cares if they're happy? I mean, like the big yellow smiley face is not the purpose of life. It's creativity, contribution, building things, taking mankind to its next stage. That's happening here under a more capitalist system that's definitely under threat. Let me just play one more, and I don't like making fun of or attacking private citizens, but this is a lady who asked a question of Bernie Sanders at the Fox News town hall that they did. And listen to her description of socialism.
Our question comes from Kathy Harrington. Kathy, what's your question for Senator Sanders?
Hi, Senator Sanders. Welcome to the Lehigh Valley. So my question is, the definition of socialism is just a society agreeing to work together and combining their resources to make sure everyone is protected and taken care of. How can you challenge the idea that socialism is bad in the minds of the public?
So everybody's taken care of, and it's the community getting together to help everybody. Again, just not true, only true if it's done with guns, because it's the whole thing. We're talking about a principle. We're talking about a principle. Who owns your life? Who owns your time? Your money is not just money. It's not, that paper doesn't have any real value in itself, except insofar as it represents your work, your investment, your risks, your responsibility. That's what that money is a symbol of, okay? The government should not own that. If the government owns your money, it owns your time, it owns your work. If I have a right to health care, then I have the right to, if you're a doctor, I have a right to use your service. I have a right to your service. I have no right to your service. Nobody has a right to anybody else's service. It's just not true. And it's the principle. Let me read you a story, brief story, from the BBC from 2011, okay? 2011, so we're talking 8 years ago, still under Chavez. Venezuela has brought a new gun law into effect which bans the commercial sale of firearms and ammunition. Until now, anyone with a gun permit could buy arms from a private company. Under the new law, only the Army, the police, and certain groups like security companies will be able to buy arms from the state-owned weapons manufacturer and importer. The ban is the latest attempt by the government to improve security and cut crime ahead of elections in October. Okay, so as Chavez's plans, supported by Sean Penn and Oliver Stone and Michael Moore and all the rest, as they were leading the country into disorder, they said, well, we've got so much disorder, so much crime, we've got to ban guns because guns are causing the crime. You've never heard that before, right? Yeah, you hear it on MSNBC. But what do you hear on MSNBC now as they are reporting on Venezuela? Listen to this.
I think it has been surprising to a lot of people in Washington, in the administration at least, that this is taking longer than they thought, despite the sanctions, despite the pressure. With the help of Russia and other outside forces, Maduro is hanging on.
Not only hanging on, but he appears to still control the military. You have to understand, in Venezuela, gun ownership is not something that is open to everybody. So if the military have the guns, they have the power. And as long as Nicolas Maduro controls the military, he controls the country. And his supporters have tried to peacefully protest. They have gathered in large numbers. What we saw today when he met early this morning and stood there in front of those wearing uniforms appear to be rank and file members who may have switched their allegiance. We have seen over the recent months those who have switched their allegiance, but not en masse. We have not seen large numbers of the troops in Venezuela switching their allegiance from Nicolas Maduro to Juan Guaido.
MSNBC just reported that because the people have no guns, they have no power. Quoting him directly, right? Since Maduro has all the guns, he has all the power. And you think to yourself, gee, If only they had a constitution that said people had a right to bear arms so they could form militias in case, the government goes bad. But of course, that would never happen here because our government is filled with such wise, just freedom-loving people as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Vladimir Putin, God bless the devil, is basically giving us a course on freedom. He is showing us in front of the TV, he's showing us on TV why you need guns, why there's nothing benign about the attempts to take guns away, because it's the principle. You can have socialism without trucks running people over. If, for instance, you introduce it to countries like Europe, where people basically have aged out of freedom. They basically have gotten tired of being free. They just want to be taken care of. They want to be taken care of by the United States that protects them. It gives them the medicines that they want. And they don't understand, you never understand with socialism, that you are selling your future. You're selling your future. You hear Bernie Sanders talking about the corporations this and the corporations that. Well, the corporations give you your iPhones. The corporations give you your computers, your cars. All those things that you love come from the corporations. Corporations can get too powerful. Any power center needs to be controlled. That's true. But it's corporations that give you all these good things. And when you take their profits away, when you say that, no, your profits are ours to redistribute, you take away the inspiration and the desire and motivation to keep creating things. And so you don't know what you won't have. You don't know about the health care, the pills for your dementia that won't be there when you get old. You won't know about that because they just won't be there. It won't occur to you that, if we hadn't had socialism, somebody would have invented that to make money. You won't know about the invisible computer that would have gone in your ear and given you all the information in the world right to your brain. You won't know about that because it simply won't exist. Socialism takes your future away, and you need guns to keep it from happening, because if the government can get more power, it will. I just want to end this by talking about the fact that, you haven't heard a word from Bernie Sanders about Venezuela, and you haven't heard a word from AOC, because they know the principle is at stake. They know what the principles are that are at stake. And the New York Times is playing this story way down for riots and demonstrations like that going on in our hemisphere.